Welcome to the Inside Track on Real Estate with the Dekker Team, and I'm Yetta Dekker.
And I'm Ryan Dekker.
And together we form...
The Dekker Team.
Well...
Part of it.
Yeah, part of it. Not the whole thing. We're a
good piece.
All right, awesome. So it's always a delight to be with a great realtor on the team, as well as, and I suppose most of you know this, as well as a son. Mm-hmm. Kind of fascinating sometimes.
Very fascinating.
So before the show starts, there's always antics. So if you could ever get a hold of the blooper reel...
It'd be a good blooper reel.
It would be a good blooper reel, especially when it's Ryan.
Yeah, I try and get Dan to not film that stuff. So, anyways.
Anyway, so today we're not here to do the bloopers of real estate. We're actually here to talk about the 7 probably most significant reasons that you actually want your home, your house to sell fast. Mm-hmm. And so often, people will say to me, I'm not in a hurry.
I'm not in a rush.
I'm not in a rush. I don't need to sell quickly. And it actually always scares me a little bit, because what I've learned from about 30 years in the industry is that when we decide we want to sell our home slowly, it usually means, or that we're not in a rush, we're not in a hurry. And again, I don't want people to have anxiety and stress. Mm-hmm. And yet, if we're not wanting it to go quickly, then that usually means we're pricing it out of the market, or we're creating a condition that causes it not to sell, or we're asking for marketing that needs to happen not to happen. There's usually something that's going to actually impede the home getting what it's worth.
Well, wouldn't that just slow down the sale? What do you mean what it's worth? I thought we're just slowing slow. Why does that affect the price?
Well, the slower we go, generally speaking, the less we're going to get.
So that's one of the reasons why you want to sell fast.
Right, because you'll actually, you're going to get more money in your pocket. Mm-hmm. You're going to sell your house for more dollars pretty much always. And I say pretty much because there is the rare exception where I have an exclusive, unique property that might be a little bit like finding a needle in a haystack to find the buyer for that property. So as an example of something might be a property I sold a little while back on an island, and it was a beautiful year-round residence, structurally gorgeous, architecturally stunning, water views amazing, and the only way to get to your home was through a ferry.
Yeah.
And so that takes a more unique buyer, given the price range the property was in. And so that's not going to, it could sell quickly. It's just, it's not a price conversation. It's not a condition conversation. It's not an availability conversation. It's just a very unique property that no one would make promises it's going to sell in a few minutes or a few days unless they actually had a buyer for it already. Mm-hmm.
And you might still get top dollar, even though it takes longer to sell, because the buyer who wants it really wants it.
Right, and we did.
It's unique, yeah.
In fact, in that case, when we got the offer, the seller had actually, in her mind, decided she was just not going to move. Yeah. And so when we got the offer, she said, I don't want to move. And I went, awesome. We've got a buyer. And so that buyer paid every dime she was asking. She did not come down $100 because the motivation was higher for the buyer than it was for the seller.
Now, that motivation thing is fairly rare in our market.
It is.
So I don't want to talk too much on that because that's a unique situation.
Well, and I wanted to draw out the unique, though, because when we're making these general statements, sometimes it's, but when we want to make sure that we're saying we understand the uniqueness of certain properties, the uniqueness of certain markets, and that these principles will apply, I'm going to say 95% of the time.
Yeah.
Maybe even a little bit greater than that.
I think a little greater, but yeah.
So we'll say between 95 and 98% of the time, the concepts we're talking about, the reasons that you want really to sell your house fast are the same. Mm-hmm. So I just gave one great long story example, which you enjoyed, didn't you?
I loved it.
And I hope you did too. So getting the most money possible actually happens when we sell quickly. Can you go into that a little bit more, Ryan?
Well, one of the next things is that there's more chance for multiple offers.
Right.
So when a house comes on the market, there's more people seeing it all at the same time. Where when it's been on the market for quite a while, then you'll have less people seeing it at a confined time. So if you're to get an offer, it's more spread out. But if it's right when it comes on, you're priced well, you could get multiple offers and get much more for your house.
Right.
And so again, that brings up the value, and it just creates that bidding effect that we all hope would happen on our house.
Right. And even in a market, the Ottawa market is most of the time somewhat stable right now, and probably still in most areas and in most price points, really functioning more as a buyer's market. Mm-hmm. And when we sort of look at how long is the average home looking to sell, how much inventory do we have on the market, how much inventory do we have on the market relative to how many are selling every month? That's what primarily will denote whether we're in a buyer's market, a seller's market, or in fact a balanced market. So anything that is 0 to 3 months of inventory, meaning if I have 3 homes on the market in a given community, or let's use 100 because that's probably more realistic. Let's say 100 homes in a given area, then those 100 homes, if I have 10 months worth of inventory, that means 10 are selling every month. Is that good? Good math?
But
it's pretty simple math, 1 in 10. So that would be 10 months worth of inventory. And if we have 0 to 3 months of inventory, we have very much a seller's market. It means we have, 3 homes on the market and 1 is selling every month. And that would be 3 months worth of inventory, which is fantastic. And then 4 to 6 months worth of inventory would be much more a balanced market. Mm-hmm. And then in excess of 6, so really 7 to 9 would be a buyer's market. And then in excess of 9, so 10 plus, we would be looking at a depressed market. So the good news for Ottawa as a whole, there are some price points and some types of properties that in fact are moving into that depressed market or very, very much closer to that. And so...
And if you check out the bear, which we give every month, in the back, you'll see the days on market. And so I've got a few bears here for different areas. So Ottawa, we're sitting at 52 days on market. So that's under 2 months. So that's a good market.
Right. And given these stats also reflect the current listing period. Mm-hmm. Right? And so if you've priced your property too high, sometimes you're going to reposition it again in the marketplace on a new listing with a new price, and that counter can start over. Now, we are able to give you the actual stats, so what the cumulative days on market are, in contrast to the current days on market with that listing, and yet this gives you some sense that when the home is actually priced well,
and depending on how the market's doing.
Right. And see, what you're not sort of saying there is how many were on the market versus how many sold. And so this is a little less descriptive about whether we have a buyer's market or a seller's market, and more just giving you an overview of how long things are taking to sell on average once they're at the right price point.
Yeah.
Where they'll be received well in the market.
Yeah. Which is your average days on market.
Yep.
So now we've got, this one's Finley Creek, and it's at 29 days. Yeah. So that's pretty good.
That's awesome.
And so my question to the listeners is, when you're in a market that's selling quicker, is it more important to price it well or less important?
What do you think?
I would say it's just as important.
Yeah, I would too.
If the market is a little bit depressed and you're priced above the market, you just won't sell.
Right.
However, as far as getting top dollar, it's just as important.
Absolutely.
Manotick, we've got 64 days on market. And then we've got Greeley, and it's a little longer. We're at 101 days on market. And so each area is a little bit different.
Right.
When you break it down by, town and
And there's lots of other areas that we have community newsletters for, as well as if there's any area that you just want your stats, you just want to know what your typical days on market are, that is something we can give to you. And if you're not getting the bearer, Currently, we do have an electronic version that we've created just a few years ago because it was just hard copy in a few pocketed communities. And then several years ago, we realized there was a need to create something larger. And so we created Living in Ottawa, or the Ottawa Bearer. And so that has all of the advertisements. And the really cool thing about it, it helps your home sell faster because we actually promote all of our sellers' homes in there. So that gives it a visibility of almost 20,000 people at this point that would otherwise potentially not know that your home is on the market. And we also have created an opportunity for you to advertise your business, your service, your community event, your items that you want to sell. We were around before Kijiji or Used Ottawa or Swap and Sells even thought about being in existence. This has been around since '89, putting people's items that they want to get rid of. So if you want to use it for that, it is free to you. You simply email bearer@dekkerteam.com and or go on our website at dekkerteam.com and you can fill in the advertisement form and then also sign up for the electronic version and get access to real estate stats and everything else that is going on in your community. So in terms of getting more dollars,
Yeah.
I don't want to leave it too quickly.
Okay.
Because it is the biggest reason to sell fast and probably the one that is least understood.
Okay.
Do you agree?
I have a slightly differing opinion. But
Okay, well, share your perspective because this is what's good about this. We can have a debate on air.
Oh, no. Really? Okay. Family Feud, Season 7, coming soon. So my biggest one would be that I think is the least understood is the time, stress, showings, the distraction that selling your home can have when it's sitting for a long time.
Okay, talk about that then.
So let's
see if I can agree with you or we're going to continue the feud.
So this is actually reason number 7 on our list. So we're doing a bit of a jump. And the reason I think this is so misunderstood and so important is stress is a leading reason for health issues, for family breakdown, for so many things. And usually selling your house can either be a great experience or a stressful experience. And the longer it sits on the market, usually the more stressful it becomes. So you're having to clean your house more often. You're having to do more showings. You keep wondering, do I get to move? Do I not get to move? And it just becomes a stressful part of your life. And so we want to get it sold for your health, for your stress, so you don't have to bear that. There's no need.
Right, because it doesn't actually help you.
Yeah.
And imagine if you will, and many of you are imagining, if you have a pet. If you have a dog or a cat, so you want to hide them dog dishes, and you want to get your animal out of the house, and who's a precious member of the family, so he doesn't like sitting in the garage, or she doesn't like being in the car or being transported by someone else. And then there's the vacuum up the dog hair or the cat hair. It's that whole extra layer of stress.
Wondering if your cat got out during the showing.
Oh, yes.
Is the right cat going to be in your house when you get back?
Oh, let's not even share those stories, right? There are those stories that exist out there. There have been days where I have chased dogs through snowstorms for up to an hour and a half trying to get them back in the house because it escaped.
To find out it's not their dog.
Well, yeah, that one was not me.
Okay.
So that did happen to somebody with a cat, though. The sellers called very upset that there was a cat in their house and it wasn't their cat. And yet the realtor had spent a significant amount of time chasing the cat. Because there had been a cat there, just it was hiding under the bed.
Yeah.
So now we had 2 cats in a cat fight. So not good. Many, that would be a distraction.
That would be a distraction.
That would be, nobody would be wanting, and something that creates a lot of stress. That just hurts.
Yeah. So that would be my thing that I think people miss the most when they go to sell their house. They just don't realize that if it doesn't sell, this can be hard. Right. Hard on the family, hard on the individual.
And the amount of extra cleaning.
Yeah. The time, the effort, it's a lot.
So there's a lot of loss, maybe not even in terms of just monetary is what you're saying.
Absolutely.
It's in terms of just time.
Time and stress, yeah.
And stress. And kids, can you imagine the extra crying when they have to get out, make their bed one extra time,
or they
get
miss
out of
a
the
nap, or they, can't be there on the weekend, or you're missing meals. Or,
right. Or,
so, I mean, for a short period of time, it's not a big deal.
Right.
We can all make it happen to get our house sold. It's when it drags on because we're not priced right, or because something else on the list that we're going to talk about isn't done right.
Right, exactly. So getting your home sold fast, the money thing is important because you will get more for it. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go back and pick up the feud where we kind of left it.
Sounds good.
And just talk about that slow is, generally speaking, a bad thing. Mm-hmm. And fast is, generally speaking, a great thing. Because all of the buyers that are looking for what your home is, that are currently in the market, will see your home within minutes if they're already working with a realtor, whether it be us specifically or another realtor. So as soon as it goes out there, hundreds and sometimes thousands of hits happen on the internal real estate website. And so those people are already captivated. You already have a captive audience. And so they are the most likely to pay the most money for your house because they're waiting possibly for something just like what you have to offer.
Well, and they're usually also the most qualified to buy your house.
Well, that's right.
Because they're working with a realtor. They've already got pre-approved. There's a lot, they may even have their house sold already. They're active in the process. So they're a great
they're your best people.
They're 80%,
Yeah, absolutely. And they're going to act, generally speaking, quickly. Because if they really like it, they're not going to wait 3 weeks. Or they're going to not wait until there's an open house. Or they're not going to wait until it comes across their desk 3 more times from 4 other sources if it really spikes their interest. Mm-hmm. So they're likely, if they like it, going to pay the most. Mm-hmm. Just had a property recently that came on the market, not in an area that is moving incredibly quickly. So I would have told you that they were in very much a community at a price point that was a buyer's market. Mm-hmm. And it came on the market, and within 36 hours, we had 3 offers, 3 showings and 3 offers. And you say, well, that means it was underpriced. No, it wasn't underpriced. It was priced exactly. And I was even concerned I had priced it maybe a smidge above the market. I wasn't even positive it was bang on. What I would tell you is it was bang on. And most of the folks, 2 of the 3, basically paid right around asking and a little bit more. And then another one paid a little bit more than that. They were all great offers. They were all asking or greater. And yet that couldn't have happened 3 weeks down the road. Mm-hmm. It could only have happened really, does it ever happen down the road? Multiples? Absolutely. The most probable time is when it's fresh and new and exciting and mm-hmm. captivating to the buyers that are already in the market and already motivated. Mm-hmm. So we actually want you to vote. Is Ryan's reason number 1 or is Yetta's reason number 1? So you can email us. You can actually email Ryan@DekkerTeam.com if you agree with him. And
I think they should do this on Facebook. Okay. Go to the Dekker Team Facebook site.
We'll put something there.
We'll put something there. And, say Ryan or Yetta wins. And
Yetta wins.
Yeah, whatever. We'll see.
Okay, we'll see. Or you can email us to tell us the extra reasons you have and how much you agree with us. We would love your rationale.
Or disagree.
No, agree with me.
I'm happy to learn.
Okay, I'm happy to learn too. So it's Yetta@DekkerTeam.com, YETTA.
And Ryan@DekkerTeam.com.
Right. How do you spell your name?
RYAN.
Okay,
it's really
fair enough.
difficult.
He's figured it out. This is good. So let's get going.
Yeah.
That is another one of the amazing reasons that you want to sell quickly.
It's number 3 on the list.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you want to get going, then let's get going. Why slow down and just make it less effective and fun and enjoyable and all of that?
Well, and it depends on where you're going, right? Like some people are doing a military move. Some people want to buy a bigger home. Some people need to be somewhere for school, for work.
Yeah.
And if it's taking a long time for your house to sell, you may actually delay your life goals, or they may not even happen. Right. And so it's important to get that process going. Why delay where you really want to be?
Right.
Or where you're supposed to be.
Right. And even sometimes people ask me, well, do I wait till the spring? Do I time the market? Well, really, it's about timing your life.
Yeah.
It's to get going when you're ready to get going. Mm-hmm. the plan works just as well 6 months from now, well, then it gives you more time to organize and prepare and make sure we get some of those other things handled. And yet it's really about your life.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons to sell fast is just to get going. Yeah. And vacant.
Yeah. So vacant properties are okay.
They are. We sell them all the time.
They're easy to clean up and get ready for showings. It's great. You don't have to kick the kids out or the dog out. And it normally smells fine because there's not, different foods cooking. And so that's really great. However, when a vacant house sits, it begins to smell. Mm-hmm. Even if there's nothing wrong with the house, often a home starts to smell just from being stale air, just from not having people moving around. And so the longer it sits, it just gets this smell. And the issue with smells in real estate is it skips your thought processing and it goes straight to your emotions. And so if you smell something that you don't like, instantly when you walk in the house, you go, oh, this is a gross house. And it's not something you thought, it's just an emotional response. And so smell is crucial. And so if we can sell a house quicker, you want that. You want it gone so it doesn't get that smell.
Absolutely. And creating a fresh
feel and yeah.
Absolutely. And I think one of the other big reasons is a buyer's perspective shifts when a home has been on the market too long.
Yeah.
They ask, what's wrong with it?
Instead of what's right with it.
Right.
So when they first see a house and it comes on the market, they're like, oh, is this the house? Is this the one for me? And it's really exciting. And then when a house has been on the market a lot longer, they're like, wait, why is this house still on the market? No one else wants it. Why do I want it?
Right. And what's wrong with it?
And so the whole questioning changes depending on how long it's been on the market. Mm-hmm. And that goes back to why it sells for more in the beginning, because the buyer is asking different questions.
Yeah. Different questions, it's the same house.
Mm-hmm. And nothing's changed other than how long it's been on the market.
Yeah.
That's
it. So you don't want people asking what's wrong. You want people asking, how do I get this house? Mm-hmm. Really?
Yeah. Or is this the house for me?
Yeah.
You want them, will this work for my family instead of is this wrong for my family? Like it's a
totally different shift. And once that shift has happened in somebody's mind,
very hard to get it back.
Very difficult to get it back. I just had some folks that in fact were interested in a home that had been on the market a long time. And because it had been on the market a long time, even though the price had shifted and come down significantly over that time, they still felt that the home should come down significantly more just because, not because the value wasn't there, it was actually underpriced by the time we got here. It had just lost its oomph in the marketplace because it's been years. Mm-hmm. And it had come down so much, and yet they were slow at making the decision to put the offer in, feeling, well, there's no threat here. There's no risk. And we can negotiate really, really hard because
mm-hmm.
Because it's been too long. And we did eventually get it together, and they conditionally purchased the home, conditional on the sale of their home. And then we did get they got another offer. It wasn't us, it was someone else. They did get another offer, and my buyer had a really hard time accepting that there'd been another offer. Kept saying, well, this can't happen. It's been on the well, it will sell faster at the beginning. And the reason you want to sell faster is you'll get more money and you won't go through this kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
And one more reason. We promised 7, so let's not forget number 7, right?
Well, this is number 6 because we already did number 7.
Okay, we bounced them around.
It
doesn't matter, but it is the 7th reason.
It's fun to tease you.
Thank you. It's not fun to tease me. Okay, we're going to have another debate on Facebook about whether it's appropriate for a son that works with his mother in the industry to tease her or not.
Yes, and I would love to hear from those who work with their family as well. We'll give 2 points to those people.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, the last reason that we're going to discuss, Ryan.
Maintenance and carrying costs.
Okay.
So even if you're not living there, so it's vacant, well, then you've got more carrying costs, you've got more maintenance, similar maintenance.
Well, you're still going to have to get somebody else to do the lawn. You're going to have to get somebody else to snow shovel.
Yeah.
You have to keep it at a higher level than you even do when you're living in it, really,
Yes,
if you
absolutely.
want top dollar for your home.
And you want it to sell quickly.
And you want it to sell quickly. I mean, not that we don't live in our homes beautifully day to day, and yet I think for most, and I wouldn't say everybody, because I have my clients that there's nothing I can recommend they do because it's already incredible when I walk in there. Often we need to pick up the maintenance
a little higher.
A little higher.
And
so
if you leave it longer, then you've got more maintenance and more carrying costs. And some people have 2 homes, not always, but sometimes, and that gets pretty stressful and pretty costly fast.
Right.
And so selling it quick is really important in that case as well.
Right.
And then maintenance as well. When you have a home, there's things that can go wrong, and it just seems to be that when you're trying to get rid of it and it's there a long time, the things that happen just feel bigger.
They do. And there seems to be more of them. Like I get that phone call saying, I got a leak in my basement. I haven't had one in 20 years. You know, I've never seen one before. My dishwasher just went. My washer just went. And it's like,
how? Why?
The furnace isn't working right anymore. Or the well pump just went. Yeah. It's like, okay, so the shorter, the better. I mean, we want to leave it in great condition. It just, the more maintenance, the maintenance required will build the longer it takes.
Yeah.
Right? And so if you've joined us on the real estate show, on the real Inside Track on Real Estate with the Dekker Team, you've been hearing the 7 reasons and a little bit of banter with Ryan Dekker and Yetta Dekker around that. So we'd love for your votes on Facebook. And we have 2 amazing properties to just talk about briefly. They were both out in the Manotick Station area. One is only $319,000, which for a single family home on over 3 acres, has an above ground pool, lovely space inside. There's some renovations you might want to do, and yet the shingles have been done. The windows are in great shape. The everything's just really good. And cosmetically, you'll want to make it your own. It's got a great gas fireplace as well, an insert in a beautiful stone wall. So some beautiful features to work around, and then a little bit of updating you can do to make it feel like yours. And then another property at 425 in the same area, and it's a beautiful split level home with lots of renovations. And the other really cool thing with it has a big shop out back. So you get the shop and you get the house. You don't have to leave one behind.
Shops are important for a lot of guys and a lot of business people.
And a lot of women too.
Yeah. Okay.
I know my women mechanics.
Okay,
let's not stereotype.
Okay, don't vote on that one.
Oh yeah, don't vote on that one. We 3 in 1 shows too much. So if you're interested in those or any other property, give us a call at the Dekker Team, 613-860-4663. Or if you want to discuss or have a private in-home consultation about selling your home fast, that would be other reasons to connect with us. Thanks for joining us.
Bye for now.
What you wanna do? Well, man, it's on you.